Pratt, who is going to bring her stories from the Bahamas. She is Princess Abdiel Pratt, and she is a multi-talented creative, sharing her art as a storyteller, as a poet, as a spoken word artist, as a percussionist, and all-around folk artist and cultural practitioner from the Bahamas. Welcome, Princess Abdiel Pratt.
Greetings, everyone. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I just had a last-minute technical difficulty. So the story I am going to share is called Missoon's Sankofa, and it was inspired by my mother's migration from Jamaica here to the Bahamas. Miss, get your manager, I want to talk to you. I am the manager, sir, replied Missoon. No, you was a Jamaican and I want to talk to no flipping Jamaican. I want the manager. But I am the manager, sir, said Missoon calmly. How you get the manager and you an Bahamian? You need to go back to Jamaica. This was a day in the life of Missoon, a peculiar dreamer who dreamt herself into this world for her parents to finally have a child of their own. She was one of those dreamers who dreamt of a life beyond what they could know, having been born into an environment that wasn't exposed to much of the great big outside world, except for music and stories. But still, she would dream of a life that seemingly appeared to be better, brighter, and more bountiful in the Bahamas. From a young girl, she was always bright, but for good reason. And though she was little, she was Talawa. Missoon was taught that a queen could never be a queen in her own country. But Missoon was already a queen in her own right, as she was held in high regard for being the smartest person in her community. And with the maroon blood that flowed through her like the 7 rivers beneath her hilltop home, she had enough passion and courage, like her ancestor Nanny, to illuminate everyone's mind with a single story. And as a result of teaching her father how to read, he became the community's first bus driver and made it so that by the sweat of his brow and the infamous travels of his one-heart country to city bus, that Missoon would receive a good private quality education, an education that was alien to him and her mother, the kind that ensured that his daughter would indeed migrate to foreign and make a far better life for herself than he was able to provide. It was in May of 1986 that Missoon finally migrated to the Bahamas. In December of that same year, she would have married her husband, whom she had met in college back in Jamaica. They dated for a few years, and he would have graduated 1 year before her, promising to return for her as soon as she was done. He kept his promise. And the next thing you know, Missoon was finally off to live the life in foreign she had long dreamt of and had been prepared for her entire life. But the Caribbean foreign wasn't the New York foreign her father, whom she had taught to read, would then migrate to later. And even though she had married the son of a politician who came from an established upper-class middle family, and even though he loved her immensely and she loved him the same, she would still have to work twice as hard to prove that she wasn't driftwood or some Jamaican whore whose goal it was to be with a Bahamian man and take all of his money. In the 3 short years that followed, Missoon's foreign fairy tale became a foreign nightmare, one she had never anticipated or planned for. Her husband was shot to death in their home while she and their young toddler were tied up to a chair. Besides their daughter, he was the only family she had on that side of the Atlantic Ocean. And despite the heart-shattering tragedy that befell her, she chose to remain in another queen's country to give her daughter an even better life than her father afforded her. But here she stood, years later, being insulted and discriminated against yet again because of her nationality, for simply doing her job. The only thing worse than being a Jamaican in the Bahamas was being Haitian. And the only thing worse than being either was being one in a managerial position. And even though Miss Thorne would always keep her composure and remain professional, it was moments like those where she would experience Sankofa, an Akan concept from Ghana introduced to her by her daughter. Here she was, longing to return to her past, to the home she dreamt herself into, the home she dreamt herself away from, and the home she dreamed to return to finally become a queen in her own country. Thank you.
Thank you, Princess. Thank you for such a powerful story. I'm reading the comments. I hear you, Sister Pratt, moving